Hey guys, it's Alicia. Today I'm going to be making one of my old favorite Weight Watcher recipes, and that is for broccoli cheese soup. It is a super cold, nasty day out there right now, and so nice warm soup sounded really good to me, and I had broccoli, so that is what I'm going to be making. So let me go over the ingredients real quick here. You are going to need a cup of low-fat cheese. I really like this stuff from Kroger, the Mexican style blend. It is 40% less fat. Then you're gonna need a half cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt. You can also use non-fat sour cream. I've got 12 ounces of broccoli florets there that I've just cut up into kind of small pieces. And then here I've got about a cup of baby carrots I've chopped up and a large red onion that I've chopped up. This is a large potato that I've chopped up into little pieces. That is 10 ounces. So again, a large potato or about 10 ounces of potatoes chopped. Here is 3.5 cups of fat-free chicken broth. You're gonna need a little bit of minced garlic, some pepper. You can use salt if you want, but I think there's gonna be enough sodium in the chicken broth, so I'm not gonna use any. You're gonna need a little olive oil, some smoked paprika, nutmeg, dry mustard, and a tablespoon of flour. And that is it, so let me get started with this. So I've got a large pot here, and I've got it turned on to medium-high heat, and I'm gonna just spray a little bit of this olive oil spray in here. You don't really even have to do this if you don't want to, especially if you're using a non-stick surface, but I'm just gonna spray a little bit in there, and then I'm gonna add in my carrots and onions, and I'm gonna just cook these in here for probably about 5-6 minutes or so until those onions are starting to get nice and softened. The carrots are not going to be fully softened, but I want the onions to be. Those onions are looking nice and softened, so now I'm gonna add in my potatoes. And also a tablespoon of garlic. And I'm gonna stir that in there and let this cook for about a minute or two. Now I'm gonna add in a half teaspoon of my dry mustard, quarter teaspoon nutmeg, and a quarter teaspoon of the smoked paprika. And then finally my flour. And I'm gonna just stir all this in here. I'm gonna let this kind of cook while I stir it for about a minute or two. And now I'm gonna add in my chicken broth. Add a little fresh ground black pepper. I'm gonna stir this together. And then I'm gonna let this come to a boil. I have had my heat, I don't know if I said, on medium-high this whole time. So I'm gonna let this come to a boil, and then when it comes to a boil, I'm gonna cover it and reduce my heat down to low-medium and just let it simmer for about 10 minutes or so. All right, this has come to a boil, so I'm gonna reduce this heat down to medium, and I'm gonna cover it and let it cook for about 10 minutes, but I'm also going to be stirring this occasionally during that 10 minutes. I let this simmer in here for about 10 minutes, so now I'm gonna add in my broccoli florets. Stir those in there. And then I'm gonna cover this back up and let it continue to simmer on low medium for about another 10 minutes or so until that broccoli has softened up. I let this cook just about 15 minutes, maybe a little longer. And now what I'm gonna do, now that that broccoli is all softened up, is I'm gonna pull some of that out. And the carrots and potatoes. Probably just a couple cups or so of that. That much of it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just mash that up because I want the soup to kind of have little pieces in there, and this is also going to kind of act to thicken it up a little bit more too. So just do kind of a rough mash on that. And then I'm gonna return it to the soup. And then I'm gonna just stir that back in there. I'm gonna take my cup of cheese, put that in there, stir that up until that's melted in there. And now I'm gonna add in a half cup of that fat-free Greek yogurt. And I'm gonna stir that in there. And I really love the Greek yogurt in this because it not only adds creaminess to it, but it adds a great flavor to it too. But again, if you don't like Greek yogurt, you can do the fat-free sour cream. And that is all there is to that. So I will dish up a serving and show you what that is. All right, here is a serving of that, which is a heaping cup, and this makes 6 servings. The points on the green is 3 points a serving. I'll have to double check for the purple and blue and see what that is, but I'll have my hubby try it. Oh, I do want to point out that this time when I made it, my cheese didn't quite melt all the way. I've never made this with that particular cheese before, so I don't know if that's the problem, but a lot of times the lower fat cheeses, they don't melt very well anyway. But I used to make this all the time with the Weight Watcher cheese, and it worked a little better than this one. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. If your cheese doesn't melt all the way, you might have little flecks of it in there, but I'm sure it'll still taste fine. Go ahead. The long beard there.
Again?
I think it's out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really good. I mean, I like broccoli soup. I mean, the flavor of the broccoli and the carrots are really forward. And you can really taste the onions as well.
And I didn't salt this, but
It could use a little bit of salt.
we're how much do you think to the whole thing?
A tablespoon
Whoa.
for the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would say
Half a
more.
tablespoon.
I would say more like a teaspoon.
A tisp.
A teaspoon. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, that's all to taste. We typically don't salt things, period. But sometimes you need to. So add a little salt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've made this. All right. Yeah, that is broccoli cheese soup. He obviously likes it because he's still eating it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.